Hi everyone, this is Rudra Pethani, and I recently scored 119 out of 120 in the TOEFL IBT test. And in this video, I'll be giving you tips and advice on how you can get a good score as well. So TOEFL stands for Test of English as a Foreign Language. It is a computerized test that takes about 2 hours and consists of 4 sections: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. I scored full marks in all of these sections except speaking, where I lost 1 mark. So the first thing I would suggest you do for this preparation is go through their website. It is very important that you thoroughly read through all the sections of the website, and you should know what the exam is before you start preparing for it. The next thing I would suggest you do is know where you stand. You need to assess how good your English knowledge is already. And to do this, I suggest you take a mock test that you can find plenty of online, and just take them and understand how far you need to go and what you need to work on. Remember, for this TOEFL, you already need to have a pretty good knowledge and fluency in English. And if you are not good at English at all, then you might not want to give the TOEFL right now. I would suggest you read books, watch movies in English, and develop adequate English where you can at least speak it fluently. And then I would suggest giving the TOEFL. The first part is reading, where you will be given two comprehensions that are quite long, and there will be questions asked about it. And the single most important thing about this section is that you need to maintain your focus and have your brain working at 100% efficiency. Because even if you miss out one point, then you might get one or two or even more questions wrong. And the questions can be quite tough. So you need to read through the paragraph very quickly and understand what it says. And more importantly, you need to understand what the question is asking. A good thing about this is that the questions are in order according to the reading passage. For example, question 1 might be in paragraph 1, questions 2 and 3 might be in paragraph 2, and question 4 might be in the third paragraph, and so on. So what I did is you read what they'll do is they'll highlight the part of the text that they're asking the question from. So what I did is I read one sentence before the paragraph, one sentence after the paragraph, and the paragraph very carefully, so that will help you answer the question, and usually that is enough for uh, you to eliminate the other options and find out the correct answer. So there are 10 different types of questions that they ask, and the most difficult ones for me were inference and rhetorical types, where they ask you indirectly what they're trying to say and what the author means here. And the single most difficult thing I think for all students would be the summary questions. It has more weightage than the other questions, and it will be the last question of comprehension, where you will be given 5 or 6 different options, and you have to organize a summary based on whatever passage that you have read. And you also need to decide the order, like which point goes first and which point goes second. And it is really difficult because you need to analyze what is correct and what is not correct. And even though it may seem like everything fits in, you need to see which one seems more to be correct for this one and which one is just an unnecessary detail that you should not include in the summary. So I suggest you reserve your time for the questions like summary and inference. And there will be other questions like which are direct details and information and even vocabulary, which you can just speed through. And so you divide your time accordingly. And the only preparation that I did for the reading section was practice, practice, and practice. I went through lots of different comprehensions and answered the questions and figured out where I was making mistakes and focus more on those kinds of questions. Listening section. And for this, you will be given a headset, which is headphones, and then you'll have a microphone. And you really need to make sure that you adjust the volume of the headset and the microphone and everything accordingly, because if not, you won't be able to listen to what the listening paragraph says, which is, of course, very important. And another thing that you might find difficult is the different accents. Most of them will be American accents, but sometimes they might add something else like British or Australian or whatever. And the listening passages will mostly be from lectures and topics that you might not have heard about, like astronomy and biology and business studies, economics, whatever. So they you just need to take care of this. And another thing is that they give you a paper and some pencils to take notes. Now everyone takes notes differently, so you need to figure out by yourself if taking down notes while the person is speaking in your ear is helpful to you. Personally, I took a lot of notes, and I even had to take ask for another extra paper because I ran out of the sheets that they gave me. So this is one thing, and the another thing is that go through the questions quite fast. There may be a time crunch. I felt that at the end I had to rush through some of the questions, and a very crucial thing is that don't try to memorize whatever they're asking. This is an English test, it's not a memory test. Most of the questions will be asked indirectly, and they won't ask dates and specific names and whatnot. But it will be better if you jot them down. So if maybe they ask them, then you are prepared for it. Next comes speaking, and this was by far the most difficult section for me, and it is the only section where I did not score full marks. The main issue is time. You will have each less than 30 seconds to prepare and less than a minute to speak. So it is very difficult to get all the points through, and especially because you essentially don't have any time to prepare. You just have to freestyle whatever you say, and that is very, very difficult. The key point I think that you need to do is be confident and speak naturally. You don't try to hurry up, and don't be nervous, because if you're nervous you'll stutter, and they will cut down a lot of marks for that. So just make sure that you have a rhythm of speaking. You don't pause too often, and you don't hurry up in other parts. Just calm down and speak naturally. The best thing you can do for this is templates. You can find templates online, and you need to remember the templates. For example, for each of the different types of questions, there is an introductory sentence that you can speak, and there is a conclusion sentence. So that reduces the amount of things that you need to actively think of at that point during the exam. If you just remember these before you give the exam, it will be very helpful. And I would suggest just memorizing the templates that you like, or make your own templates, and keep them in your head and stick with them while you are speaking. Do not try to experiment with anything different, because then you'll probably end up stuttering and losing your train of thought. And for notes, I think in the preparation time, all you should do is write the main points, like 3 or 4 words about what points you want to talk about. Like first point is this, and second point is this. That's it. Nothing else. Don't write anything else. And you also need to make sure that as soon as the speaking time begins, you start speaking, and as soon as it ends, you stop and you finish the last sentence that you speak. And the prep time is, I felt it essentially useless. And what you need to do before this, it is lots and lots of practice. Keep timers and listen to what you said, record everything, and time everything. So you speak one of the questions, and then you listen to yourself and figure out where you went wrong. There are also lots of online websites where you can grade yourself, so that should help too. The last part is the writing section, and here you will be asked to type out an essay or something, and there will be 2 questions. And the most important thing that you need to take care of is the typing. The keyboard, you need to be familiar with the keyboard that they'll give you. So what you can do for this is go to the test center a day before, figure out what kind of keyboards they have, because the ones you might be using at home could be vastly different. So you need to make sure that you have practice in a similar keyboard to the ones that are at the test center. And typing speed is also very important. If you are quite fast at typing, then you'll be able to finish your writing section much quicker, and that will leave you time to check for corrections. Because in the interface that they give you for the typing, there will be no autocorrect, nothing. So you will probably end up making a lot of mistakes. I did too while typing, and it's really important that you leave time at the end for corrections and going through, and most importantly, just correcting the grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes, because they might cut your marks for that. A few mistakes are fine, but I would suggest just going through it all and making sure that you have no errors. Templates are quite helpful for this. But usually there is a fixed beginning and conclusion that you can write. You can find these in sample answers on the internet. And if you have these, it will just help you, and it will improve your speed of writing, and you won't have to think much for how to start and how to end. And in the middle section, I suggest you use a lot of transitions and connectors. For this, you need to learn a variety of different phrases and words, like, in my opinion, uh, in addition to this, moreover, to conclude, in conclusion, to be precise, phrases like this that can help you enhance your text, because this will make it seem like you are quite good at English, and they really look for these words, and it's a major deciding factor on how many marks you are going to get. And there are some spellings which are different based on the British and or American English. In India, we usually use the British English. So I suggest that you just be consistent with what you use. If you are using the British one, then use it throughout it. Don't suddenly uh, write color without an O or something, without a U, sorry. So that's one thing. And like I said, you need to leave time for corrections. This is very important. And that's it. Once you finish it, you'll be done with your TOEFL exam, and at that time, you will be given your reading and listening marks. It will be out of 60, and at that point, you can decide if you want to continue and report your scores, or if they're so bad that you want to cancel them. This is very important. If you are getting good marks, be very, very, very careful that you are reporting your scores and not canceling them. Otherwise, all your hard work will go to waste. So be very careful on what you want to do. And if you report your scores, they will go to the institutions that you send them to. There are four free institutions that you can send your scores to, and you need to decide this before the exam. I think it's 12 hours before the exam. So if you feel like, if you are confident that you will get good marks, then I suggest you put down the names of the colleges that you want to attend, that you might want to attend in the future, so you can send your TOEFL scores immediately. Finding the resources that you want from the internet can be quite difficult. The ones I used were TST Prep. It's a website online, and they also have a YouTube channel, and both of these are quite helpful. They have free stuff that you can use, and they have paid courses as well. I only use the free ones, and if you want, you can even purchase the paid ones. They have a lots of practice, they have different rubrics, and it will really help you on how to prepare. And the official ETS website as well, the TOEFL website, they also have free sample questions which you can do, and they also have paid mock tests where you need to pay some money. I think it's 3-4 thousand rupees that you can pay, and you can get the mock test. And one last tip that I would like to give is behave. During the exam, you will have a camera that's right on top of you, and you will be heavily monitored. They'll check your pockets and everything. They even took my water bottle because it wasn't transparent. So don't do anything suspicious. Otherwise, they might report you, and it will be very bad. You might even be banned from taking the test in the future. So that's it. That's all I have to say about the TOEFL. I only took hardly 2 to 3 days for preparing for the exam. So in total, I think it's about 10 hours that I took for the total preparation. This might be more, this might be less for you, depending on what your level of English is. And that's all I have to say. And that's it. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great TOEFL exam. And that's it. I'll see you guys again in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.